Well, and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on today's show, we're all big fans of the Pagani Huayra, right? The thing is super beautiful, super sleek, and great performance, and the ultimate touches on every little piece on this machine are fantastically breathtaking. But let's face it, a lot of us can't afford the actual payments on owning this machine. But what if there was an opportunity that you could maybe lease it? Well, your dreams may come true. There's a place in Greenwich, Connecticut, known as Putnam Leasing that is putting up a brand new Pagani Huayra up for lease. And the payments are super reasonable. At lease signing, it's a low price of $700,000. And then for that 5-year lease, it's only $25,339 a month. Yes, you heard me right. If you do the math on that deal, it's well over $2.2 million. Now here's the trick. I've only tried to lease a machine once in my entire life. Remember the old two-door RS Subaru back before the old WRX days? Yeah, I tried to lease one of those machines, and all I can remember from that particular transaction was the balloon payment at the end. Now, if you lease an automobile and they tell you the balloon payment, for the sake of argument, at least in this particular situation on that RS Subaru, it was a low price of $9,000. That $9,000, if I were to pay that at the end of the lease, car becomes mine. But you can also, if the vehicle is worth more at the end of the lease, you can actually roll that over into your next lease option, or you can walk away from the machine altogether. That's a trick with this Huayra. Would you walk away after spending $2.2 million and then what is that balloon payment actually going to be? So it'll be interesting to see if Putnam Leasing actually does get someone to lease this machine. And if we hear about it, we'll let you know. Next up on the list, well, AMG is showing off their brand new racing facility known as the AMG Speedway. Now, one of the biggest performance arms of one of the biggest manufacturers in Germany, obviously them having their own racing facility, I think is a fantastic idea. And where would you think a facility like this would exist? Germany, right? No. It's in Gangnam, South Korea. Yes, you heard me right. A big market for the folks over at AMG is the South Korean market. And this particular facility, they didn't build from scratch. This was actually a facility that was built back in 1995 that they have since purchased and completely refurbished. Now, there's still a lot of questions to be answered about this facility. Are they going to use this a lot for testing? They've been using the Nürburgring for years, so why would they actually have a facility in South Korea? But we do know one thing's for sure. They're going to use this for a lot of reveals. A lot of people with AMG running through their veins are going to be able to go to this facility and do track days and do intros on brand new automobiles. The lounge on this facility that they've just repurposed is absolutely gorgeous. And I have to say, if they offered me a shot to go over there, I would love to see this facility in the flesh. And I think that's a real good idea for manufacturers to do. There's tons of old racetracks or racetracks that are starting to go under that you can really repurpose the property by using it. And I think manufacturers get a lot of good of bringing their loyal, faithful fans out to these facilities. So we'll definitely keep you in tune if we hear any more about this new facility. Next up on the list, Rolls-Royce took off the wraps of their brand new SUV known as the Culliman. And this thing is unmistakably Rolls-Royce. It basically looks like a lot bulkier version of the Phantom, obviously. Now, I have to say, I don't think the machine is incredibly good looking. That being said, seeing it in the flesh is going to do a lot more for this machine. That also being said, I am not the target audience for this particular machine. Now, powering this vehicle is a 6.75-liter twin-turbocharged V12 making 560 horsepower and 627 pounds-feet of torque. 0 to 60 numbers are not something you ask about a Rolls-Royce. Also, you don't ask about what the top speed of this machine, even though it's electronically limited to 155 miles an hour. Now, obviously, the outside of this thing, in my mind, is not very attractive, but the inside is absolutely breathtaking. I would love for someone to tool me around in this particular machine because the back seat is where it's at. This thing is very well equipped indeed, as you think a Rolls-Royce would be. And I have to say, the starting price of $325,000 doesn't seem to be super out of line for this particular vehicle. I cannot wait to hear what the take rate and what Rolls-Royce has as far as this thing being sold here. They haven't released exactly when this car will be available to the public, but I think this thing's going to sell quite well. Next up on the list, well, the old Cadillac ATS is going away. Now, the ATS has always been a vehicle that I really love. It's a very beautiful car. It's got a good bone structure. It's very beautiful to drive, and it's probably one of the best Cadillacs that they've ever built. But the weird thing is, it just never has caught on. It just never has sold. But in an even weirder twist about this Cadillac ATS is the fact that only one of them is going away. The 4-door. They're going to keep the 2-door and continue to sell it, which is usually the polar opposite. Usually if they build a coupe version of any sort of machine, the take rate between the coupe versus the 4-door is so lopsided they usually end up killing off the 2-door very quick. It's got me thinking, what does Cadillac have up their sleeve for that 2-door? Or even yet, what's the take rate between the 4-door versus the 2-door? Or maybe even they haven't paid for the 2-door's tooling yet, so they're hoping to squeeze that extra cash out of that particular machine. So, a very interesting proposition, but I have to say, I'm sad to see the old ATS go. And last up on the list, remember the Pope's Lamborghini? Which I have to say looks way more beautiful in these photographs than it ever did and when I first saw Pope Francis hanging over the top of that particular machine. Now here's the trick. If you don't know about this particular story, Lamborghini at the time offered up Pope Francis a brand new Lamborghini Hurricane, which he promptly accepted, but did not actually take any laps in this thing, even though that would be hugely hilarious, especially if he was going to wear the big mitre inside of that particular machine. But they were going to put it up for auction, and just a handful of days ago at an RM Sotheby's auction, this thing sold for a pretty big price. It sold for 715,000 euros, or that equivalates to 861,575 US dollars. So that will go to some good charities inside of the Pope's favorite charities. So it's an all good deal all the way around. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page, especially this week. Going to be heading over to the Mecum auction in Indianapolis. Going to be doing a lot of stuff over on Facebook. If you want to check out over there, going to put a lot of content up, a lot of photographs and some videos and like. So check it out coming up later this week. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time. Get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. See you again real soon.